Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I posted on my Instagram story, which if you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me there because I post a lot of polls with videos that you might want to see and just like asking you questions of what you want to see first, what kind of video you want to see next, subscribers pick my makeup, all that fun stuff. So I'll have it linked below, it's always down there. But I posted a poll just asking you guys if you wanted to see a things I learned in my first trimester video. Specifically, I have 10 things that I'm going to talk to you guys about. And this was really just at the beginning of being pregnant. I'm just grabbing my tea here because this is kind of like a tea time chat video. But at the beginning of my pregnancy, I just started writing down things that were important to me and things that I wanted to share with you guys eventually. And, you know, it kind of wraps up perfectly my first trimester and what I feel like I've learned. And I just kind of was keeping like, I'm keeping like a notebook of some stuff. And so I asked if you wanted to see that, and it was like everybody really wanted to see it. And so I thought I would film a 10 things that I learned in my first trimester. And really, this is a, sorry, like the pregnancy out of breath thing is still so new to me, and I talk so much that I do not take enough breaths. That's a real thing. So I get out of breath so easily, and it's so strange. But I first want to say that these are just things that I really want you guys to know, I guess, especially people who aren't pregnant, maybe are trying to get pregnant. But these are pretty general concepts that things that were on my mind and things that I learned about myself and my body and my intuition and food and all of that stuff and just all of the changes that are happening. And so I wanted to just share those with you guys. And it's interesting because I never watched a ton of pregnancy videos before getting pregnant, but I've watched a lot now, and I'm watching these women talk about like their first pregnancies and just some of these feelings, and I'm just literally screaming like, yes, 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 oh my gosh, yes, like you're not alone. I want to like reach out and be like, I was giving you a virtual hug because I felt the same way. And so if you are pregnant, if you are a mama, I created a mom community online. There are a lot of them out there, but I really wanted to just have a different space and create a different space. So this is meant to be a no shame, fully women supporting other women, giving each other advice, picking each other up, talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, really uplifting each other and helping each other out. So if you are a mom, if you are pregnant, if you're trying to get pregnant, definitely feel free to join that community. It's totally free, and I will have it linked below for you guys. But that's just really important to me, and that's one of my things that I'm going to talk about too. So I want to go ahead and say that in case you don't make it to the end of the video, but hopefully you do. So the first thing that I learned with being pregnant in my first trimester is that mindset is so important. And part of having a really good positive mindset for me is meditation and meditating on a regular basis. It really helps set my mindset, but I'm generally a really positive, optimistic person. And feeling sick for a lot of days and feeling bloated and having all these changes and just feeling all kind of weird in your body and just not like yourself, and also keeping this massive secret that if you're not a big secret person, if you are online, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have Instagram, if you like want to share the news with family and friends, which most people when they're pregnant do want to share it, keeping that secret makes you feel not like yourself. And having a positive mindset that like it's all going to get better, that it's all going to be okay, that, you know, you're growing this beautiful human, and just like reminding yourself that all the time is so important. So I worked with a lot of affirmations early on in my pregnancy, especially when I was really sick. I told myself that all is well and all will be well. That was a really big one for me. I also just took it one day at a time. So I never let myself think that I was going to be sick for all my pregnancy or for 8 weeks or 6 weeks or for 2 weeks. I just said every day gets a little bit better and every day gets a little bit easier. And just having affirmations and mantras and things that you can tell yourself to just remind yourself that there's like light, and you're not always going to feel the way that you do, and that at the beginning, especially with like the floods of hormones and all those changes, there's so much going on in your mind. It's just so important to have those positive affirmations and mantras so that you can really lean on those when your mindset's kind of feeling a little bit down, and you maybe are feeling a little bit down, because I definitely had those moments. The second thing that I learned is you have to learn how to listen to your body. Learning how to listen to your body is so key in life for sure, but especially in pregnancy. And if you don't know, or if you've never been very good at listening to your body, as a pregnant person, you'll learn really, really quickly. Pregnancy is basically a forced lesson in intuition, and it kicks in really, really quick. And so I've always been a person that's very in tune with my body, and so that in itself was almost hard because I was feeling so many changes in my body, and it was also new to me. And so I was dealing with the mindset, like wrapping my mindset around that and how everything was going to go, and is everything okay, and does my body know how to do this, and like trusting your body and just learning to listen to your body, so key. So just like note the feelings that you have, take them as teachers, as lessons, as guides, as kind of a guidebook for your pregnancy. So, and it's just really important to trust your body and know that you know how to do this, and just have a really positive, confident mindset around that. So learn to listen to your body, tap into that side of you, tap into all the feelings that you're feeling, physically, mentally, and just listen to your body. The third thing that I learned, it goes right into it, is that cravings are there for a reason. Cravings tell you what baby needs, and everybody has different cravings, and cravings get kind of a weird rap, I think, because people a lot of times don't crave the healthiest food, right? And so it's like, well, why would my baby need pizza every night? And I get it, but you have to break it down and like look at the food groups. So maybe you need fat, maybe you need protein, maybe you need carbs, and so baby craves what it needs. And so for you, it'll come in like foods that you like or that your body might like for sure, but listen to your cravings. Listen to what your body needs. Like, it goes hand in hand with the learning to listen to your body. For me, I was a vegan for 1.5 years before this, and I was lactose intolerant, and I actually tolerate dairy really well now since getting pregnant, which is weird. I was really scared to try it because of how sick I can get from dairy, but dairy doesn't make me sick right now, and I'm craving meat, and so I started working that back into my diet. And that was really important for me to listen to because baby wanted more protein, and it wanted protein from meat, and so I am just very in tune with that. And I don't eat meat at every single meal, and I don't even eat meat every single day, but when I want it, I eat it. And I think it's important to really listen to that, listen to your cravings. It's what baby needs, and so they don't have to be bad, they don't need to be perceived as bad. And I'm very in the category of, like, there aren't good foods and bad foods. There are foods that are more nutrient dense and rich and healthful for you, and foods that are a little bit like nutrient empty, right, and not as great for you. But it doesn't mean that you can't have these foods, especially if that's all you can eat. I remember the first time that I saw my doctor, she said, you know, ideally we want you to eat, you know, a good balanced, you know, meal, but if the only thing that you can eat is Twinkies and soda, we want you to eat something. And she's told me that there have been people that have like been completely unable to eat anything, and it can get really, really hard, and you get into like IVs and things like that, and when you get really sick. And so there's a reason that your body craves the things that you do, especially when you're going through morning sickness. Really listen to that. I ate so much toast and applesauce and bananas, the Brat diet, bananas, rice, applesauce, toast, all 4 of those things sounded so good to me, and I ate those a lot. I also liked ginger ale, but not as much as caffeine-free Diet Coke and Coke Zero. That helped me so much more than ginger ale. I normally like ginger ale, but I don't like ginger flavor very much. And so, like, people told me to get like Gin from Whole Foods and like all these different ginger candies, and I tried ginger tea, and normally I can drink ginger tea, but literally the smell and taste of ginger made me sick. And that's a remedy for a lot of people. So listen to what you're craving. Ginger didn't work for me for morning sickness, but having something in my stomach really did. Like, I knew that when I would start to feel sick, I would eat a little something, even if it was like a little bit of applesauce or a piece of toast, and it would really help. And so kind of just finding your new normal, and that really comes with listening to your body, listening to your cravings, and just sorting it out, and having that mindset of like, it's all gonna be okay. It's just a new normal, and you have to just kind of roll with it and let yourself like figure that out. And that goes very much along with the 4th thing that I learned, which was that self-compassion and grace are absolute musts in dealing with yourself when you're pregnant. Especially people who are very go, 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 really hardworking people that feel really down and out by morning sickness or by cramping or, you know, round ligament pain or any kind of pain that you're experiencing, or hormones or emotions and feelings that you're having from being pregnant, whether it's the first time, second time, or fifth time, it's different every time. And so you really have to give yourself a lot of compassion and a lot of grace. And that was really hard for me. That was probably the hardest thing for me, because I really beat myself up about eating meat again after really like advocating for, not like publicly advocating for a vegan diet, but just for myself and how I feel about animals not eating meat. And so going from that, I really kind of beat myself up about that. And I realized one day, and that's a day that I wrote down in my journal, self-compassion and grace are musts. You can't pour from an empty cup. And it's, you absolutely have to be kind to yourself. You're growing an entirely new human. There is a new soul inside of you that is going to be its own being. And so it might want and like different things from you, and you have to be willing to give that person what they need. And that's also giving that person what they need, and then giving yourself what you need, which is grace and compassion, if that's not necessarily what you always do. And I felt that way too about eating fast food. You know, I had McDonald's and Taco Bell a few times, and I felt really weird about that because I had never eaten like that in my life. And I was eating McNuggets and fries, and I was like, why am I eating like this, you know? And I would kind of beat myself up about it. But then I just thought about it, and I was like, listen, like, I have to just listen to this and go with it and just see what it's trying to teach me and what I need to learn and how I can work with it and start to incorporate healthier versions. And slowly over time, as I've gotten less sick and learned more about my pregnancy and about, I feel like the baby, I feel like every day the baby grows, I learn more about this baby and what he or she wants. And so just give yourself grace, give yourself compassion, and give yourself a break. If you can't do as much at work, if you need to slow down. I slowed down significantly, like all first trimester, because I couldn't do anything. I felt completely like it was debilitating, the sickness and the motion sickness paired with like the morning sickness, nausea, and the headaches and the reflux and the constipation and the gas and just the absolute exhaustion, you know? It's, your body is making a home. You're literally building a house to grow life. Just let that sink in. At the beginning of pregnancy, in the first trimester, in 3 months, you build a house like for this new life, and also the new life is still creating. So like, okay, so people outside don't build houses in 3 months, right? Very rarely do they build houses in 3 months. And let alone, like, they don't build houses and get the realtor in and get somebody to stage it and buy it. Like, you can't do all of that in the same time, right? But that's like what you're doing in 3 months. It's crazy. Like, our bodies are amazing. And the more that I think about that, the more I'm able to have like so much gratitude, compassion, and grace for this whole process with myself, patience with myself. My husband's been like the kindest, most amazing human being on the planet. He's been so good, and he calls me every day when he leaves work, like, do you need something? Because he knows that this is all new and this is like a little strange and just not really sure what's happening. And so have that compassion, have that grace, and give yourself a break, okay? Totally, totally, totally important. The next thing that I've learned, the fifth thing, and this is pretty basic, but drink a ton of water. So I'm trying to drink a gallon a day, but it's actually really hard for me. I'm probably drinking about 90 to 100 ounces a day, and I'm pretty proud of that. I have this big water bottle that I use. This is Life Water, so it's got like electrolyte infused water, and I don't, like, I'll refill this and reuse this. And I also have like other water bottles, but this is 33 ounces, and so I try to have 3 of these a day. And then I'll also have like things like tea, and so I think I get to about 100 ounces a day. But drinking a ton of water is so important, especially if in your pregnancy you're struggling with constipation, which I really was. And my doctor was like, you can take, you know, Metamucil or a fiber supplement like that, but I really didn't want to do that. And I hesitate to take anything. I think I've taken Tylenol 3, maybe 4 times this whole time, and I've taken Zantac twice because it didn't help with my nausea. Mostly I take Tums and Gas-X when I need it, but I don't take anything daily. Like, and I really try to stay away from that if I can. I only take things when it gets really, like when I get like migraine level headaches. And again, that's been less than a handful of times for taking Tylenol, which medication that's like safe is, I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, but I just try to like do, you know, what I know, which is make sure that I'm eating enough, make sure that I'm drinking enough before I go into like taking the Tylenol and the medication to help with the pain and all of that. So drinking a ton of water can really help with headaches, and it helps with all of those things that I already talked about. It keeps you regular, and it just keeps your system moving. Yes, you're gonna pee a lot. That is pregnant life. I was up 4 times. I got up every hour last night to pee, and it is kind of frustrating, but that's just pregnant life. So it's just like our new normal now, pregnant mamas out there. Drinking a lot of water is definitely important, and I learned that a lot. Like, I thought I was drinking a decent amount of water, and then when I started drinking more water, I was like, whoa, this is so much better. So if you're feeling any of those kind of crazy digestive symptoms, start drinking more water and see if that helps you. Along with that, the 6th thing that I learned is that if you can move at all, whether it's taking the dogs for a walk around the block, whether it's getting on a spin bike for 10 minutes, whether it's walking just around the block or walking a mile, the more you can move, the better it is. Not only for your mindset and for those endorphins that get released when you exercise, but also for your digestive system. A big part of being pregnant is that your digestive system slows down, and it was one of the coolest things I ever learned, that you basically have to digest your food twice, which makes a ton of sense because you're growing a baby, but you basically digest it once for you and then digest it once for the baby. And so the food sits in your stomach a lot longer. And so because of that, we get reflux, we burp, we get gas buildup, we get constipated, and so moving makes your digestive system work a little bit faster, right? It's like your metabolism. So if you're really sedentary all day and not moving, then your metabolism's like kind of just slowing down, but when we move, we fluctuate it, right? So that way we can really get our digestive system moving and staying regular. And that's been really important for me. When I go like multiple days without taking a walk, which I try to walk between 2 and 4 miles a day. I did 3 today. Walking is really good when you're pregnant. And so I find that like walking feels so good for me, and then I normally do like an upper body or a lower body circuit after it at the gym. But whenever I'm moving, if I don't move for like a few days, like if I don't go on walks or don't get to the gym for 2 or 3 days, I will start to like wake up in the middle of the night with a lot of bloating, a lot of gas pain and cramping, and I won't be able to go back to sleep, and I'll just be like that, have that like constipated feeling. And I also want to preface this by saying that I'm not a person that has ever struggled with constipation. In fact, I generally struggle with the opposite issue, where a lot of foods like make me kind of sick, and I have always digested things really quickly, almost too quickly. But anyway, so being constipated is like totally new to me, and I don't love it. So I try to like, I'm trying to really do things that help that for me, because that's probably been one of the most, besides the nausea, one of the most uncomfortable parts for me physically is that feeling of fullness in my belly, because I do, like, whenever I get any kind of buildup of air, like gas pain, I cramp everywhere. Like, I wish I could, you guys might even know what I'm talking about, but it's that I get that horrible feeling, and like I need to be able to go. And so moving, so good, even if you can do just a little bit. And when I was sick, it was harder, but every day that I got up to walk, I never regretted it, because going to the bathroom always made me feel a little better. Getting outside made me feel better, especially in the summer. You know, it's nice in Minnesota, and our baby is going to be a winter baby, and so I want to get outside as much as I can. And so just seeing people too, like out and about, always made me like feel better. So that's the 6th thing. The 7th thing that I learned is that you need the sleep. It is not laziness. At the beginning, I could not believe how much I was napping, and it was really throwing me off. Like, I was almost like mortified by how much I was napping. I never napped that much in my entire life, but it was so necessary. And I've realized that it's like I said, you're building a house and you're creating life inside that house, like at the same time. And so your body's like going through all of these crazy changes, physically, mentally, and it's exhausting. And I know that a lot of times they say like the first and third trimester are the most tiring. A lot of times the second is like you get more energy, which is great because you're getting more used to the hormones, but you're just getting this like flush of hormones and all of these things happening, and so you need the sleep. Don't feel bad for napping. Don't feel bad for resting, for taking it easy, for asking for help. Do all of those things. In fact, I've really come to terms with when my body says you need to take a nap, Abby, take a nap. And I've been really okay with that. It's, in fact, having that self-compassion and that grace is what's helped me the most, right? And especially when it comes to napping and things and eating meat. You know, it all goes together, you guys. So the 8th thing that I learned is trusting your intuition. It's just like learning to listen to your body. It's the way that you listen to your body is your intuition and your instincts. Your gut is going to tell you a lot. And yes, I mean physically, but also I mean just if you get a sense about something. If you get a sense that you should call the doctor about something. If you get a sense that you shouldn't eat this, or maybe you shouldn't eat, look it up. You know, if you get a sense that maybe you shouldn't take that medicine. If you get a sense that maybe you need to switch your skincare. If you get a sense that maybe you should read this book or talk to this person. Listen to your intuition. Our pregnancy really is like an absolute lesson in intuition, and I thought I had a really good intuitive sense before, and I feel like even more intuitive now. Like I feel like I know what's happening in my body, and I feel like I can tell, you know, it's just so much when I'm a little off, when I haven't gotten enough sleep, but even more than that, like when baby is feeling really good and really happy, and when I eat things that like baby doesn't like. It just, listen to your intuition, take notice of it, and just, you know, just practice that, because it's going to be so important. And especially like you hear all the time about the mama instinct, right? That's a real thing, and that it just kicks in. Like pregnancy and motherhood, lessons in intuition, like learning how to listen to that gut instinct. And I think it starts like being pregnant. It starts ramping up. You feel more protective over your body. You feel like you know things that, why would you know them? You know, I've had those experiences, and so learn to listen to your gut instinct and your intuition and really try to trust that. That's been really important for me, especially in the unknown of like, is everything going okay? Is baby healthy? All that stuff, because you can go down a whole rabbit hole of that every week that you're not getting a scan, right? So anyway, trusting your intuition. That was number 8. Number 9 is that there are no stupid questions. Call and ask your doctor anything and everything. You don't have to wait till your next appointment. Usually the doctor will have like a place you can call and talk to one of the nurse practitioners or a nurse there, or you can leave a message and a nurse will call you back to answer them for you. They get these all the time, you guys. They're first-time moms every single day getting pregnant, and my doctor told me that from the beginning, like, ask me all your questions, call and ask your questions. And if I would have thought that I had a really, I thought I had a really dumb question and like, can I spray tan? But I called and asked, and she called me right back and said, actually, we don't want you to spray tan, and this is the reason. And thank God I asked, because I was going to go get one. And so, you know, there aren't, and that's another thing, like listening to your intuition. I just had a sense that I needed to call and ask before I did it. And so there are no stupid questions. Ask your doctor anything and everything. I asked her if I could go to see Taylor Swift 6 months pregnant. I asked her, like just her opinion on finding out gender and what she would do. I asked her if there were essential oils that I couldn't use. I don't know, gosh, I asked her so many things. I had a whole list on my phone of what I thought were crazy questions, but I was gonna ask them anyway, and I asked her all of them, and she never said any of these are stupid. She just answered all of them. She was so kind. They deal with this so much. So you guys, there are no dumb questions. Ask your doctor. Ask your doctor and call your doctor. Like, that's what they're there for. And you don't need to be stressed about it, you know, just like get the answer and then be able to let that question go. And then the 10th thing that I have learned in my first trimester is that community is everything. And I haven't just learned this from being pregnant. This is my life's work, is creating online communities for women. But finding a community that can support you of, you know, pregnant moms, new moms, first-time moms, having a community of people that you can talk to that can support you. I really was lacking that in my first few weeks, and I was feeling really alone, and it's really hard to keep that secret of I'm pregnant. And I ended up finding a community where I could tell them like I was 6 weeks pregnant, because we were all kind of talking about that, and I didn't have to feel like I was keeping it just to myself and my husband, which is really hard for me because I live a public life on Instagram, and I always have on YouTube. Even though it's been a little bit since I've been on here consistently, I've still like been a lot on the internet, and so it was really hard to not tell family and friends, and I loved having the support of a community. Also, just other moms who can help you and answer questions or just pick you up and support you. Communities built around support and not shame, or not around judgment, that are just there to like uplift you. Women empowering women, that is what I do. It's what I'm so passionate about. And so having that community is so, so, so important. And so it's why I decided to go ahead and create one for new moms, for mamas already, for people who are pregnant, for people who are trying to get pregnant. So if you want to join that, you can click below and just join our free community. It's no negativity. It's all about beauty and pregnancy and mom life and just helping each other and supporting each other and uplifting each other, talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, like I said, and just how we deal with things and how we can assist each other and give each other advice and guidance. So that's really what it's all about, and community really is important, and I felt that so much in my first month of being pregnant. Just like, I need to be able to talk to people and communicate with people that are going through something that I'm going through, because I just felt like on an island, and I didn't have any friends that were pregnant. And it was obviously a really big secret too, but I didn't have anybody around me that was pregnant, and so I needed to find that community of women. And now I want to kind of create my own and have some of you guys in there, and we can all chat and hang out and just love on each other and our babies. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you like this type of video where I'm talking about kind of like pregnancy advice, or like favorite pregnant things, or like first trimester necessities, anything, like if you like the pregnancy videos outside of the weekly, bi-weekly updates that I'm going to be doing, give this video a thumbs up so I know. And then also, if you want to see pregnancy vlogs or just like weekly vlogs from me, something I'm thinking about doing on like a Sunday, like a bonus video, definitely post in the comments and let me know about that, because I would really like to start vlogging again, but I don't think that I could do it more than once a week. And I feel like if I could just kind of combine a week, that would end up working out really well. So let me know if you guys want to see that. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I do realize that I didn't put my lipstick back on after eating before I filmed this video, so just hopefully they don't look terrible. So I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Mwah.